Alright, so this is day 6 of a video a day to 10,000 followers. If you're liking the content, please like, share, follow. And if you guys want different types of content, I offer a variety of different wellness modalities in addition to tarot readings. So I am going to be doing a tarot reading today. But if there is something specific you would like to see in my content, please feel free to comment what you would like to see and I'll make a video on it. Breath work, yoga, sound healing. So yeah, here we go. Please cleanse, clear, and bless this deck. Deliver the message we need to hear for the highest good for all of those watching. So we have the Knight of Swords in reverse, Temperance in reverse, the High Priestess, and the Ace of Swords. Guys, I'm also working with angles, so please feel free if you have feedback. I am open and receptive to suggestions. So, Knight of Swords. I'm feeling like these two in reverse are some sort of recent cycle that came into completion. And this is more present future energy over here. Knight of Swords is a fast-moving energy. It's working in the realm of thought, right? When we say reverse, for me, this is generally some sort of completion of some sort of cycle, although it can have other meanings. Generally, when I read reversals as breakthroughs. The Temperance, this was about finding some sort of emotional balance. There's a lot of red here again today. Red in the tarot is tied to passion, can be tied to fire, which is transformation. So when I look at the Temperance card, the angel's wings here are red. I see transformation. I know for me personally, it's felt energetically like our wings are expanding in our auric field. So maybe that resonates for you, maybe not. But yeah, definitely some sort of transformation in the energy field, finding more balance in the emotional and mind space where you've been able to slow your thoughts down, right? Reversals can also be in opposition to what the energy of the card is. So if this was something that had come in pretty fast, as you transmuted it, right? Red, fire, transformation, transmutation. You were able to slow down the mind space and find more balance and fluidity and receptivity to what this transformation wanted to bring forth within you. I'm noticing here how the angel has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on land. So this is like grounding our emotions, right? As you noticed at the beginning when I was blessing the deck, the Sun card came through, and here in the Temperance we also have the sun rising over the mountains. So with this transformation, it's like the sun is off in the distance, but you can see it. You can see the breakthrough coming. The High Priestess energy. The first thing I'm noticing is how on the crown of the High Priestess sits what almost looks like a pearl. So the thought that comes to mind is, with this transformation, you've gained a pearl of wisdom. And behind that, we see the fruits of abundance, right? Down by her feet, we see almost like a crescent moon, right? This is a wisdom where we are surrendering to the divine knowing that we are inherently abundant in every way. And so it's letting the thoughts subside and coming into our faith. And the pillars that sit beside her are this portal into this new world that we are surrendering into. And the surrendering is presenting us the opportunity to master the thoughts. There might be a new idea that's come through. With the Ace of Swords here, again, we have crown energy, right? So the sword is thought and the crown is rulership over. There's also leaves that feel like they're attached to the wreath, right? Which is a symbol in tarot of victory. So it's a victory and a crowning over our thoughts and our mind space. And this new idea that's coming through is what's going to allow you to sink more into the present, where you're not chasing ideas. You're not at war with the emotions. You're settled in them. And you can allow these ideas to ferment and take new form. So I really don't feel like we need much more here, but I do want to see what is this new idea and breakthrough that's coming through for this collective here. Okay. Ace of Wands. So we have the Seven of Cups in reverse. And you notice how these clouds are in both the wand energy and the Seven of Cups. So it's like you have all of these ideas and so much creativity. Sometimes it's hard to know which path to take, especially when there's passion tied into the creative space, right? And you can see how all of these cups have something special to bring forward and offer. And it's a learning, and actually this was in reverse, right? So it's something that we have learned through this process of how to embrace our shadowy emotions and use them to alchemize and manifest our desires, but not through a passion that is forced by thought and will. Rather, a surrendering to the thought and the divine knowing that lets you bring this passion forward. And I think we pulled this card yesterday, where there is some sort of passionate new beginning coming in, right? But it's coming from a healthier space where we've surrendered to the shadow of the emotions and transmuted it to become this passionate new beginning. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I think this Page of Swords came out yesterday too, but I'll have to go back and look. So the message feels very similar to yesterday's energy. Page of Swords, this is like opening yourself to a new way of thinking and a willingness to learn. But I feel with the High Priestess here, this willingness to learn is coming more from a more grounded space of receptivity than in the past, where the emotions and the thoughts were creating some sort of imbalance. Let's get a little more on the Page of Swords, please. A little more. What do we need to know about this Page of Swords? Is there anything else? Yeah, just confirmation of the process that we alchemized, right? Because these are both in reverse again. So there was some sort of war that was waged in the mind with the Five of Swords here. 5 meaning change, right? We've definitely transmuted this with the Magician energy, bringing heaven and earth together with all of the elements on the table to alchemize this new beginning. But there was definitely grief and pain and maybe even a little bit of suffering in the emotional space, especially to get you there. Any messages for what do we have? Actually, let's continue with tarot a minute before I switch it. Any messages of what we have to look forward to with this new chapter of receptivity in the Page of Swords? What is it? What is it that's coming in for us? That's too many. But we did have the Four of Wands energy there, so that could be some sort of union. Again, we have these pillars here and these what feel like pillars here. So there could be some sort of threshold that you're crossing. We have victory. People coming together in celebration, whether that's partnership, in business, romance, friendship. But let's keep going with that. Oh, okay. Let's keep going with that a little. What do we have coming in for us? Just one, please. Okay. Okay, I feel like that wants to come. Okay, so there was some sort of heartbreak, but there is an opportunity coming in. What is the opportunity? Okay. So maybe continued mastery. We're continuing this journey of mastery over alchemizing, right? Like alchemizing passion. Alchemizing the will, right? We are learning how to truly balance thy will and my will, right? To a space of where we have this innate knowing of who we are at a core level. But then also this receptivity that we're learning to who we are at a divine level, right? And finding the bridge and the balance between these two worlds. Alchemizing ideas of who we need to be, who we think we need to be, and who we are at a divine level. And in this case, it feels like this is a lesson that we're still learning. So the card was in reverse. To me, this is what this new chapter is bringing in as far as lessons, right? And as far as the gifts that are coming in, there is more abundance coming in. But with this abundance, we've now learned the lessons of giving from a full cup, right? So making sure that we have our reserves and that we keep them safe and protected, not in a selfish way, but in a way that keeps our cup ever flowing. And by doing that, we can take from the overflow that is constant and always have a space to give. All right, I'm gonna grab one message from this Keepers of the Light Oracle deck and see what do the Ascended Masters have to say for us here today. What is the message from our guides, our highest versions of self in the divine realm? What is the message from divine us? Okay. Oops. And I am honestly not super familiar with this Ascendant Master, but we're going to dive into the book a little bit to gain clarity. Just looking at the card, I notice that there is the Ouroboros around this spirit. The Ouroboros again being beginnings and endings transformation. So it's been a major transformation that you have been going through and are continuing to walk towards this path. Here we have the Ankh. This is bringing the divine masculine and the divine feminine together in sacred union. We have the grid of Metatron behind it, which is like, to me, a symbol of perfect harmony, everything working together in union. Perhaps you also resonate with the divine golden light energies. So I might mess up this name, Kuthumi, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Cloak of wisdom. You already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. So, okay, I did pronounce it wrong because it tells me right here. Kuthumi is an ascendant master who appears as a well-dressed Indian man with a golden aura. His teachings were brought to the world by Madame Blavatsky in the 19th century. There are many different theories as to his true identity. Many believe he was a wandering man known as a rishi in India, dedicated to walking the path of spirit with very few material possessions. Others believe him to have been a well-educated Sikh spiritual leader who was given a pseudonym to protect his true identity. I believe he lived, this is the author of this book here, I believe he lived a high life, but through spiritual practice was able to let go of his needs for material possession. Now he helps light workers go beyond the limits set by others and cultivate a personal connection to God. Knowledge is learned. Wisdom is remembered. You are in a real cloak of wisdom now. Like Kuthumi, you have been on a wandering path, trying to find answers through study and insights of others. But now you are uncovering the truth of your own soul. Your soul is leading the way, and you are being encouraged to follow. The fog is clearing. The light has come in, and it's shining on you. Your soul is saying yes. It's your cheerleader. Follow it and trust the endless wisdom within you. Go, go, go. Right, so notice there was a lot of grayness and clouding in the earlier portions. And then as we move forward into this new chapter, look at all of this golden light energy, right? So enlightenment, wisdom is really available to you at this time as you step into this new chapter of surrendering to divine wisdom. Thank you for watching.